We are back here on the Restaurant Masterminds Podcast, and joining me, of course, is Mr. Rudy Miick. And today we have a special guest for you. It's going to be talking fresh-mex and the future of fast casual. Rudy, how are you?
I am so good, and I'm so excited for our guest today, man.
It's going to be a good one. We've got Patrick coming in from Lime Fresh, and I think when you look at, in general, what's been going on with this space, I think fresh-mex in general, first of all, no pun intended, but when I wrote the book, Chipotle Effect, it was looking at the fresh-mex space and the explosion at that time. This was 12 years ago. And one of the things that I put in that book was the connection to the modern day consumer. And I still think fresh-mex is probably the one sector in fast casual that connects better than anyone when it comes to the kind of this next generation consumer. So we're going to break it down for sure. It's going to be a good episode, Rudy.
Rock on, man. Who doesn't love fresh-mex?
I like it. We'll be right back. My name is Paul Barron. As the early pioneer in fast casual, I've seen the industry evolve from just a few operators to the most sought-after segment by consumers around the world. Now, we're planning to shape its future. Tap into decades of my expertise identifying the emerging brands and tech winners in the space. Savor Capital will be fueling the next generation of fast casual innovation. All right, joining us today, of course, is Mr. Patrick Fore, coming in from Lime Fresh, right out of Miami, Florida. How are you, Patrick?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, listen, it's been good to have you on the show. I'll flip you up here on the top billing. And first of all, for some of our audience, I think most everybody knows who Lime Fresh. They were one of the first players in the fresh-mex space outside of Baja Fresh and Chipotle. I would say Lime is one of the icons of the industry. It's been around. We've had some changes with Lime Fresh and its ownership and its kind of its whole cycle. Tell us where Lime Fresh is today, size, how the business is spec'd out, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And again, thanks for the opportunity, guys. Lime is alive and well. As you mentioned, it's a 21-year-old brand being based out of South Beach. The original store is still in our system. What a story. It's an honor to help lead after my 4-year tenure here as the CEO. And I think what the future of Lime Fresh looks like is innovative and experiential. Our headquarters is officially in Orlando, Florida. And there we have what we call Lime Fresh 2.0. If you've not had a chance to see and eat all the way through it, it is I think it would be what the brand would have evolved to.
Yep.
Miami energy influence was still going to be concurrent. So think fresh plants, live fresh plants. Think about indoor being inside or outdoor. Our outdoor patio elements. Some of that Miami energy that transfers well. Curated playlists, and we've introduced a full bar program. So each of the Lime Fresh restaurants that will be growing and franchising growing forward is going to have a full bar program to benefit. It's been a fantastic incubation. It's both of the stores are between 2 and 3 years old. The bar contribution is in excess of 20% of sales. So we've got some. We'll say. Wow. A mixologist would love this as a soundbite. And so we've got all the Miami vibe without the Miami vibe prices in our cocktails. And so would love to have you guys swing through.
I like it. Well, we have a lot to unpack about that.
Sure.
When you look at, so when you mention full bar, this is something that we've seen a handful of, fast casuals start to move to. Most of the time it's been beer and wine. A handful have started to move to full bar. How much of a transition was that both for the franchise community, but also for, corporate operations?
To be clear, the existing franchise community still runs off of a normal beer and wine license.
Regular beer and wine. Okay.
Correct. So you can still get our strong margaritas.
What stores will have full bar? Where will those be?
The two company-owned stores in Orlando have a full bar program.
Okay.
East Coast or east side of town in an area called Lake Nona, and then over by Disney. We're on Disney property. Both of those stores represent what the future of the program, the Lime Fresh program, including restaurants, will go to. And we are evaluating currently 2 locations that are legacy locations by franchisees to convert into that full bar program. They have to be a certain square footage. I'm sure I'm not telling anything you guys don't already know.
Yeah, I was going to say, size-wise, it's probably changing the footprint up a little bit. Is it going to make them larger than a typical Lime is now?
You know, DPBR here in Florida changed the regulations right around COVID, where it used to be, a certain 2,500 square foot, a certain PMIX, and a certain seat count. They actually lowered that threshold. So we can actually run into a space as small as 2,000 square feet, which is roughly the footprint of most, if not all of our stores at this point.
Yeah.
What I love with this dialogue, Patrick, is I'm hearing that you're doing R&D through the corporate stores, through the corporate-owned stores, no risk to the franchise community. Yeah. Prove the concept, roll it out. Bravo to you.
Yeah, thank you.
There's another culture.
I wonder how much how much in terms of sales lift that might look like. In my research, I was looking at you guys' growth trajectory, and I don't know if this is correct, but is it 150 billion? What is the, by 2028, what we'll see from you guys? Any potential growth projections now with the new bar segment coming in?
Oh, right. We were just having a little pre-session call chat back and forth with Rudy. We are, and this is a scoop, sort of an environment where we're relaunching our franchising sales program.
Okay.
And it's not yet live. That's one of the reasons I'm here in Miami.
Oh, nice.
International Franchise Association, the trade show that's just down the road from where I'm now. So exciting times, and that will be the vehicle by which we grow. 2.0, and that's the value proposition. Looking at the PMIX and look at some of the novel and nuanced cocktails that we're putting together. It's fun to be in the space, and I think you're right. I think other fast casuals are coming to this party. I don't know whether it's early. I don't know whether it's late. All I can tell you is it's alive and well, and we enjoy being an incubator. I think it is wise for a franchisor to take some of those early risks. To de-risk the obvious.
I talked with an operator in Dallas a few months back, and he's been in the space of offering full bar to it's called Village Burger Bar. But what he was explaining to me is, in the beginning, he said it was still an uplift in overall sales, but he said just by offering the full bar, it has created a new clientele base for them that they weren't getting to. And now, on average, a Village Burger Bar, when it was beer and wine, we're doing 2.4, 2.7. He's saying now that they're bumping 4 million on AUV. And he says it's 2 reasons. One, the bar itself has created a new revenue center, a whole new, but it's also created new day parts for them that they didn't have, which is like the evening, which in most fast casuals, it's not the biggest day part. Now with the right kind of menu, maybe Lime Fresh will become the hotspot.
Renovating a 21-year-old brand has certainly been an honor. It has been a challenge. It's never a dull moment, right, Rudy, in the culture wars. So I think that there's room for that. And that's great to hear that there are other models moving the same way. Yeah.
Well, what is intriguing to me is you can't sell it if you don't have it, right? And to Paul's point, you're opening up a whole nother day part potentially, and certainly broadening the demographic and psychographic of the guest, still within the same culture. So bravo.
You got a happy hour running in Orlando right now. I like that. And, this 4 to 6, obviously with the bar only. We looked at rebuilding this design. Was it a major capital expenditure to be able to flip the stores to where they could do a full bar?
It can be done for $50K or less. What it comes down to is the engineering. You guys are restaurant guys, you know that. That's the biggest challenge, and that's probably the heaviest lift in terms of the capital. Out in that, it's just, a fairly small bar can end up accommodating between 12 and 18 seats. That feels right in a space of our square footage where it's not an overwhelming presence. Some of our competitors have kind of this, it's a bar, and then, by the way, we serve tacos. We have a saying, sexy food, sexy cocktails, right? And I constantly talk to my team about the effect that Instagram and TikTok have had on our food. But we've got to people, when people eat with their eyes, that bar is such a wonderful showpiece. So anyway, not that expensive to answer your original question.
Well, and I think the key here is you're starting to really tie into the millennial audience, which is, it's a big category. One thing I'm kind of curious about when you look at building, and Rudy and you and I have talked about this before, building menus around alcohol sales, and there is a little bit of a flex toward these mocktails. Is there any plan for going in that direction to where you'll have kind of a balance of both?
We actually feature 5 mocktails already.
Okay. All right. You're already on it, man. You're way ahead of us.
No, it's good. It's good. The interesting thing is we had that hypothesis 2 years ago, landed them on the menu. They're actually very good products. They're not moving. The margaritas are our category killer. We have 5 or 6 different ones, right? And everybody wants the Cadillac, the Cenote.
They want the full load.
Of course. Yeah. It's an interesting scenario. And I think is it the veto vote? Is it because we don't have a mocktail? I don't think so, because we can take our agua frescas and make them something fresh. But we're going to keep them there, though.
What I love is you have the offer and you can see where the P mix is going to go with it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's there. As I'm listening to you, Patrick, and in the whole conversation, to me, the point is we're adding value. Here's one more reason to show up, and you can count on the quality and the diversity of it if you choose, right? It's really cool, really smart.
No doubt. Well, I think the key is you're plugging into an audience that is tuned in to kind of just more experiential dining, which is something we've talked about here on Fast Casual. There's not enough of that out there in this sector. Mm-hmm. It's usually more utilitarian, meaning, hey, I'm going there to just get food, lunch, dinner, whatever it might be. But the minute and that's the thing, I think that I would say that the Lime experience, if you've never been to a Lime Fresh patio, it is a different kind of experience in fast casual. It's so relaxing. I mean, we take our kids there. They're, hanging out, chilling, watching their iPads, doing whatever. They see their friends there. It's almost like a little community gathering. And I have found that they prefer that now much more over Chipotle, which is very rarely a patio experience, So huge difference. Are you going to continue to keep the patio on the design?
No doubt. That is a huge brand pillar for us. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got it, here in Florida, it's it's the perfect patio concepts out there. What about franchising? When you expand outside of Florida, what's the big trajectory there?
I think the brand was strong in several states when owned by our predecessor. And I think that one of the things that should continue is this place, the sense of place that is Miami. And as we start to stand up our sales program, we start to talk about the brand in 2.0 terms. I think that there is a fabric in Miami that people are interested in. And part of that is the lifestyle. Part of that is, I think, and I'm grateful to you for bringing up the patio, is that inside out. I think I talked about at the top, being able to kind of bring this sense of place in Miami, Wynwood Walls, the fun activities, South Beach, and be able to transport that into other states. As we grow, I'm all about responsible growth, and slow growth is growth, which is good. It helps my team. We're a small team of leaders right now, kind of get their feet wet and moving forward. But those elements, the bar program and patio, we're certainly going to be something that we'll look at it. And we may, the landscape in real estate is always a challenge. We may miss a few opportunities because that patio really is part of our punch.
Yeah, that is a hard spot to find the right location. I mean, if you look at your Gardens location, or even I haven't been to the one over off of University. Is that unit still open?
Oh, yes. Yeah. The
University, right across from Smash Burger?
Yes. Yeah.
Or not Smash, Five Guys. Yeah, Five Guys.
Yeah.
That's a huge patio at that location. I haven't been over there much, but man, it can house a lot of people.
It was crazy on Cinco. Cinco was Monday, and we're just kind of getting over that. So that patio, the weather came through, kind of wiped everything out. It moved through quickly. The DJs came back out. They put the kids back into the games. But yeah,
that's South Florida. It's raining in the eye.
Well, Paul, I want to come back to a point you made a few minutes ago about here's this fresh-mex fast casual segment, right? But what I'm actually listening or hearing as I'm, Patrick, just enjoying the dialogue, especially with you both down in Miami and having big smiles with this, you're creating with your concept a restaurant experience that happens to be fast casual in design, right? But Paul, as I'm listening to you, your kids are hanging out, they want to play, right? It's not food as fuel. It's not kind of one step down from a traditional restaurant experience. It is a restaurant experience. What I'm hearing is we have
100%,
a restaurant experience that happens to be fast casual, right? Really, there's a subtlety there that's lovely.
You and I have talked about this, Rudy, is that this connection to, especially from a millennial. Millennials want more experiences. Because listen, let's accept it. There's a lot of them that probably may have a challenge on buying a home, because of the economic condition, but they're looking for other outlets. And when a restaurant can start to provide those kind of outlets, especially one in the fast casual space, which is, I will say, is much more zoned in from a economic, side of things. And then if you add bar, you're almost bringing in casual dining, but doing it at an area where, an average millennial that's making 50 to 60K is easily going to be able to, feed a family of four and have a really good time and experience in there. So I think it hits the market right now with the economic conditions. What's happening, in the United States right now around spending, what we're going to see around foot traffic, which is a concern right now. Patrick, are you seeing any foot traffic impact because of what has been happening, from all this tariff garbage?
I think that some of the tariff data needs a little time to live in the world. We've not seen anything terribly dramatic or drastic. The observation I would make is we're watching a lot more people do first party delivery, basically come in this, pick it up themselves. I think that that's a fairly consistent theme, even COVID and pre-COVID, that I've seen in the industry before. That's sort of our, I don't want to say canary in the coal mine. The other thing we're watching right now is the tips, going back through our partners and saying, in my experience, that's one of those things that starts to go from a 20% to an 18%, maybe back to 15%. And it's not a science thing, Paul, in my mind, but it's just something that I can use with my board, as well as growth and expansion kind of mindset to say, okay, where is the discount versus the value versus the experience? How do we move those buckets around to make sure we're still seeing traffic?
Well, and we'll get to culture in a second, but I'm kind of curious. I'm going to stay on service model for a minute.
Sure.
So, because you're mentioning, the tip side of things, if you look at the service model, it's an order at the counter, but you guys run the food out. How does that work? Okay, so if I'm ordering in Orlando, I go to Orlando and I want to get in on a frozen margarita. Mm-hmm. Do I order it then? And what if I wanted another one? So because of the model, the way it's set, it's not really server based. How do you guys manage that?
And that's the novel thing I think you mentioned earlier about kind of bleeding more into casual dine around the bar environment. The service model of the restaurants completely changes. So Paul, you're right. You can go in, you go make your order at the counter, we give you a number, and then we do our hospitality at the table. Leave your mess, we'll pick it up. But around the bar envelope in the Lime 2.0, it's full service.
Wow. Okay.
We've got
this is interesting because now you're flex casual. It's become kind of a combo. So do I still order at the counter?
You can. And oftentimes when someone's new to Lime, kind of my first question I hate is like, hey, when's the last time you went to Lime? Or that conversation that happens at the door typically is, welcome to Lime. how much time do you have? Right.
Yeah.
I've got to go to soccer practice, or I got some time to kill, whatever. And saying, well, tell you what, let me take care of you at the bar. You don't have to go anywhere with that. And so that's kind of the evolution. People with time.
I love that. That is really good. That's I haven't seen that in concepts yet, where they're worried about the consumer's, time allocation, which is true. That's a big one.
Well, I almost wonder how that is the ultimate next level full service, right?
Well, and you're dealing with
we can support you in either direction, right? Unbelievable, really cool.
Well, and I feel like that really connects, and this is something we've talked about before a lot on this show, is this disconnect in hospitality. Since COVID, since the pandemic, and this is proven by data, I hear it from all the CEOs that come on the show, is there's been this drop in consumer expectation of hospitality from restaurants, meaning we don't even expect good hospitality anymore as a consumer. You go in expecting to get crappy service, which is terrible for the industry.
Why go?
So for somebody that will deliver good service and then has good food too, I think that actually, which is so ironic to say that, Rudy, is going to be the differentiator.
Bonus, right? If the food's incredible, the margaritas kick, right? And all of a sudden we get service as well.
Yeah. Bingo. Yeah.
That's right.
Which plus I think is the patio.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and Lime has that, fortunately I get a chance to go over there quite a bit. So I know I would still call it one of the best fast casual experiences that is out there from especially from a hospitality standpoint. Servers are always, very nice. I mean, it's so cool. They'll come to you. They bring those chips and salsa. I can just taste them right now. I'm going to Lime for lunch.
Awesome.
Patrick, are you taping this, right?
The chips and salsa are amazing at Lime. You got to get a big bowl of chips and salsa in their guac. It comes out nicely presented. They're always smiling. It's the best thing, It's the best thing. Let's talk about digital marketing before we get into culture. What are you guys doing? Anything specific around this? You mentioned first party is picking up for you guys. Does that change your strategy around third party?
No, it doesn't. To answer your third party strategy, we're actually kind of in a moment of renaissance. When I encountered the brand and was asked to take the helm, the previous leadership had already developed an app, first party app. And it has, to be honest, been very underwhelming in terms of that experience. Okay. So we find ourselves, what I encountered was the team had built just a digital cash register, like an app that would just take your money. So we are on a listening tour right now on Capital L Loyalty, and I've listened to a couple of podcasts. I love the one on Gen Z, by the way, Paul. So that's spot on. And trying to activate what really gets the shaping the customer is that balance between trying to land that hospitality in a way that's personal, right? And loyalty is certainly a part of that. It can shape behavior. So right now we have an app, but we don't have, we walk through the door backwards. We need a loyalty program that looks like, a marketplace. Right now we just have a marketplace. And so we've got some discovery with Punch, Olo, and a few others.
Okay.
And so that'll be a relaunch between now and the end of year, I believe.
I think we may see a lot of companies. Rudy, have you seen many? I know we've talked to a lot of guys who are in the middle of relaunching their loyalty programs of recent. I don't know if there's been a stagnation of loyalty members that's caused this, but it's interesting that you say that, Patrick. Have you seen more, Rudy?
Well, what I'm seeing, I think the bullseye word you just hit, and I'm sorry to say this, is stagnation.
Yeah.
We think there is a rush to build apps, loyalty apps that are built on the same model. And I don't frankly think it's the right model.
Yeah.
I frequency to get points as opposed to thank you for being here and how do we build the service, the quality, the decor, just every touch point that celebrates frequency.
There you go.
Yeah. Right? It's celebrating.
I'll tell you what, Patrick, this is a tip for you, is we study this a lot within our investment company, Savor Capital. We look at tech. Mm-hmm. So we invest in startup tech. And one of the areas that we're working on right now, we got a couple of companies that we're looking to invest in. They're app builders. And one of them, I won't mention their name, but I'll mention a derivative product. And they've created this gamification inside the app. And if you go, I don't know if you're a Robinhood user, but if you are not, go use Robinhood, sign up for it. It's an investing app. Mm-hmm. But the reason is because Robinhood has a program called Robinhood Gold. And the way it works is you pay $5 a month. I have yet to see a restaurant do this, okay? Is to actually get a membership program that creates more value into whether it's special offers, all sorts of, but anyway, they do it and it feels though you're paying them, you as the customer are paying Robinhood for Robinhood Gold, but you get so many perks that to me, I'm like, this should be more expensive than $5 a month, you know? And the reason they create this gamification. Right? It feels so much more personalized than any other banking app I use. I'm telling you, if we get this in the food industry, people will notice. People will notice. We haven't seen it yet, so it'll be fun to watch. What about culture? Let's talk about that, because obviously with the shift in team structure, I should say, but from the top, the refocus now on franchising, the franchisees you have. How are you guys addressing kind of that challenging and turbulent time that you've gone through now and readdressing growth from here, from a culture standpoint?
No, it's. I think that is the question. We did it. We are doing it rather in two ways. First of which, 4 years ago, I encountered the brand that had no way to talk about the future, innovation and food cycles. And so we worked over 2 years, traveled all over the country, and we renovated over 36% of our menu. We just launched all of our, what I call the One Whole Lime project. This is a sidebar, but we renovated the menu and rolled out 13 new items on the menu that are now permanently associated there. It's a fun bunny trail, but that was the beginning of the genesis for our partners, both current and the future, to talk about the future. There was stagnation within the brand. The second pillar that we're moving forward with, and go with me, I'm a little bit of a cheese ball when it comes to stuff like this, is something that I'm building and we're building as lime moments, living intentional moments exceptionally. So rolling out the lime moments for us is the second pillar, and it goes to Rudy, our conversation earlier about the culture, about how it's supposed to feel. There is something about Lime Fresh and Miami roots that is experiential, and oftentimes in the transactional world we live in, that's forgotten. And so we're building what I'm billing as the reason. What is the reason that somebody comes back to us, be it digital or otherwise? Well, we think that living intentional moments exceptionally can happen anywhere. And when the guest is coming to us, that's also a little bit of a sales pitch to incoming partners. And that filter, Rudy, you and I were talking about before, and saying, how do they themselves live their lives, their business lives, the decisions and the filters. And so it's an exciting time to take both of those and try to start the growth engine again.
God, I love that so much, Patrick. Earlier we were talking, with the addition of your bar service and this customized fast casual full service feel. Historically, we've looked at, what's the menu? What's the food? What's the beverage? What's the decor? What's the service? That's it, right? That's the whole package. But what's always struck me historically is because of those aspects, there is a fourth dimension, right? The third dimension is the square footage and the build out. Yep. But the fourth dimension is, how do I feel? How am I engaged? And it's always been intriguing to me with this word hospitality that we play with. The root of the word restaurant is a place one goes to be restored. And that is so beyond hospitable, right? That is the vibe, right? I leave better than I came in. Wow.
Okay. So I love it. Yeah. I think, Patrick, so you have franchisees, they're accepting. Who's the guy that runs the Pembroke? Is his name Nick?
Yeah, Nick Boros. He's been a long time.
I've met him multiple times. Real nice guy, big tall kid.
Yeah, big team. Yeah.
How was his feedback? Because he's been a long time. I mean, he's gone through John Kunkel and many of the revisions of Lime over the years. What was his feedback as a franchisee to you guys around this culture shift that you're in the middle of?
It's a great question. I found the two franchisee groups very, I think, scared. To use a word. They knew that they wanted innovation and renovation, not only cosmetically, so all of our restaurants now look like Lime Fresh 2.0 from a renovated perspective, but also from a menu and value. There were a lot of the discussions around sacred cows. We've always done it this way. And so stood up a process with my team to kind of go through just a menu innovation process. And that took 2 years. And the outcome of that was bringing the franchise partner along with Nick, along with them, bringing the partners and including them in the journey about PMIX, costing, MSRPs, all the things that have to happen when menu happens, and then giving them the opportunity to genuinely give us feedback as a franchisor. Yeah. That was tough in terms of the exchange, but we've healed a lot of
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, anytime you have a legacy franchise system that has seen the wars, okay, they've seen all of the issues with brands. And when you have a reboot, like what Lime is going through now, sometimes they don't believe it, because you're sometimes they just don't believe it. Can we rebuild that culture, that panache that the brand once had? Yeah. So kudos to you guys, because I think you're onto something. I like the expansion of the beverage side of it. I think that's going to be a new differentiator for you. I like this flex on the service side. I think that's going to continue your hospitality move for sure. And I like the fact that you guys are getting back in the franchising business. So I'm going to give you a B- right now until I see proof
Love
that
it.
Lime is at the top. Again.
Well, my score is a little bit higher because
Rudy,
you're actually walking your
today?
talk, dude. Right? You're walking your talk. And what I want to celebrate this podcast at the top, one of the tops of our list of here's every touch point from the fiscal management to the people management to the build out to the touch points and that feeling, right? You're holding it all. And when anybody is talking about culture or brand, we default to there's ice being filled up in the service bar there. Sorry about that. But the opportunity that every one of those touch points with the people as well as the numbers, that is culture. Yeah. That is brand.
I like it. Patrick, all right, let's talk about one last thing before we let you go. Trends. You guys are watching what the market is doing, obviously, with all these new innovations that you're doing within Lime. How are you addressing the Gen Z audience, the little bit younger consumer that's starting to kind of direct where mom and dad eat, and this blend of the millennial? Because between those two, that is pretty much the restaurant industry future right now.
Yeah.
So how are you guys addressing, because this is a big dynamic change from Gen X and Boomer, big dynamic change, both on menu, appetite, frequency, all those things. How do you guys go about it?
I'll break it down by generations, if you will. For the millennial type, to take the brand from 21 years, we want to continue to index on experience. And so we've got some very exciting upcoming partnerships. Some brands that are Florida-based, Tabanero, a hot sauce company that's based out of Florida. We're moving forward with a partnership with them to give mom or dad some additional flavors and injections. I'm proud to say that we're going to be launching a retail collaboration with a company called The State of Gratitude. State of Gratitude is addiction recovery and proceeds go for it. It's a great story, but a lot of our industry suffers some of those comportments or those potential issues of recovery. And so in the millennial way, you're going to watch the brand evolve to kind of get reconnected into roots that doesn't necessarily always look like food. For the Gen Zers, this is why I think loyalty in the digital landscape is so very important as we go on our faith walk, so to speak, and really kind of determine. That's the one that I think I'm still got the question mark around my head for, and tackling where it is that they want to be met as consumers. And, we grew up in the food industry, and we watched in COVID times the preponderance of third party when strangers deliver strange food. It's kind of a strange outcome in terms of third party delivery.
Exactly.
I think advancing the notion of how to put that hospitality first person back in a digital component. Yes, everyone remembers birthdays, and yes, you get extra points if you buy said. But that's where I really want us to continue to index our time on the Gen Z gap to close. If they're going to be a digital first frontier, they've got to a way to get hospitality across on a computer screen. How do we do that? And that's what
well, I think the point you're hitting on, first of all, kudos to you, because you're hitting on the big area that is the largest question mark in the restaurant industry, especially in fast casual right now, is how does the restaurant industry translate hospitality really in a digital first and digital native guest, which is really the Gen Z audience, because that's truly the first true digital native that we've encountered in our market. And now they're now starting to move into their earning years. With the youngest, I think Gen Z around 24, or oldest around 24, and the youngest, right now around age 6. So you've got a large sector in there that is going to be advancing quickly. I've got 2 of them, and they drive the decision, and not only of where we're eating. I mean, it's almost like every, dinner night out is always trying to match up what the boy and the girl want. And that's always been a problem. But I think, the approach around the digital side of things for hospitality is going to be intriguing.
Well, one of the things that I'm appreciating about the dialogue, Patrick, bravo to you, is I'm hearing, these 4 very distinct categories, and you describe them in their uniqueness. So bravo. And at the same time, there's a flow through from beginning to end to each one that connects. And what, for the listening audience, the viewing audience, what a great lesson you just gave us about, look at these pillars uniquely. At the same time, what's the flow through? Yeah. So bravo.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're gonna check back with Lime Fresh again. We're gonna find out what you guys are doing on your scorecard. We're gonna bring that B- up. What was your score there, Rudy? What you gave? You gave it A- or a B+?
I would go to a strong A-, man. I think, Patrick, you're on the right
anything
track.
Over a B is fantastic in our show.
I appreciate that. Yeah, just you wait. We'll
you wait. We're coming, baby.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Patrick, thanks so much for coming in on the show today. We appreciate it. If you guys haven't checked out Lime Fresh, make sure and go visit them on their website. Very simple, just Lime Fresh Mexican Grill.
And for those of us on the West Coast, it's worth a plane trip.
Come on down, baby.
Now, right?
Yeah, Miami's great this time of year.
Yeah, exactly.
This has been great. Great time and great share. Great to learn and listen too. So thank you both.
You bet. Thank you, Patrick, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Rock on, you guys. Thanks.
All right. See you later.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. So excellent stuff there with Patrick. Amazing. I love to see brands like Lime and others who are in kind of that reboot phase right now. And especially in fast casual, where you get, kind of this next generation of maybe understanding hospitality. They do it really well just because of the experience side of things. They have a little bit of a cheat code going right now, Rudy.
Well, I would agree. And Paul, one of the things that I loved about our guest today, what Patrick is sitting with, my experience was in is no doubt a really challenging time in our history and for our industry. This guy shows up with pure, not just hope, but optimism and focus to step into every opportunity. Right? It's just... Yeah.
Well, he said some interesting things. First party, really focusing in on first party because of the dynamic shift that we're seeing We're going to get more operators on the show, guys, for all of you watching or listening right now, because I think this is a big question this year is first party, third party. How do you create an engaging app that can deliver hospitality in some way? So as we start, we're doing a lot of deep dives on restaurants and brands out there right now, and casual dining, fine dine, fast casual, to really find out what you guys are up to. If you have an idea for the show, make sure and reach out to producer@savor.fm. That'll reach our producers. And if you want to join in, let us know. We always love that. You can always comment down below here on the YouTube channel. If you're listening on the audio podcast right now, maybe you're running or something, make sure and just hit a little star or a like on whichever podcast app you're using. Rudy, it was always good seeing you.
Great, man. See you soon.
We'll catch you guys.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Right here on the Masterminds Podcast.